One more video in the Preferences dialog box series is for Ensembles, the fourth tab. This is where you edit the lists that show up when you're entering the various parts and or instruments for the various ensembles. When you actually get into this, you'll see what I mean. This is not to be confused with the music scores and parts we create. This is what you see. Let me get out of here. If you're in the Ensembles tab and you look at Orchestra, these are the parts that are available. And kind of a pain to have to go through and set this all up, but once you do it, it is done, which is nice. So that's why you'll see if there's like marching band, for example, I don't think has anything. If we go to edit the lists here and find marching band, it doesn't have anything. If I add, clarinet 1 and come back here, now I see clarinet 1 is available for a part in the ensemble area of marching band. Now, the ones that we typically use are going to be well populated. Chamber choir, let's go to preferences and look at that. Ensembles, value list. I might change the name on that, make it a little more meaningful. So here are the parts we see that show up in that list. One reason for this is, so chamber choir might have some music in their library section that has a whole bunch of accompaniment on it, be it obviously piano, but percussion or violin, strings, whatever. We don't really need strings and all these things to show up in the chamber choir ensemble list because, you don't have string players in chamber choir. So we just need a subset of that list, which is specific to the people who perform in chamber choir, which in this case would be a piano, but then just the various vocal parts. No other percussion or instruments that may exist for other pieces of music that they have is going to show up in this list. So that's one thing that's very nice about being able to customize these lists this way. And that's true for all the groups. Jazz band, we don't actually run through the library that way. We just keep track of their music, so we don't have to worry about them. Men's choir, there's the voice parts. Orchestra, symphonic band, symphonic winds, and wind ensemble, and women's choir. So there you have the various ensembles, and don't confuse them with the areas in the scores section of the database. Other things here, default ID type folder 100, student folder range 100. I'm not even going to cover those. You don't need to worry about them. Just leave them alone. Auto folder creation. This is also available on the ensemble layout, so it's in both places. Not that it really matters, but anyway, you can just turn that on and off for creating folders automatically when you add a name. If you're doing a roster from the very beginning, as I've described in other videos, you don't turn that on. You want to get everybody entered, put them in the proper order, be it alphabetical or score, and then create your folders over here. If you're just adding a few names and you're adding them to the end of the list and you don't want to have to stop and click add every time, you can turn this on, and then it will automatically create a folder as you add them. Which, again, just be careful that doesn't totally mess up your folder number order. But that about does it for the Ensembles preferences of the Preferences dialog. Thanks for watching.